Lightning, the Magic, the Blue Jackets, and the North Florida Ospreys. Today we've got the Tampa Bay Lightning, who won 5-1 last night against the Detroit Redwings. And we are going to start the recap with Andre Vasilevsky, who had 18 saves on 19 shots that he faced. He faced a lot more shots than that, but that's how many he saved. Big win. It was a big win for the Lightning. And they face this same Detroit team in a couple of days, next Saturday in Detroit, after a back-to-back on Monday and Tuesday against Toronto and Montreal, which I will get into that later. We're going to start with the recap. Lightning opened the scoring with Braden Point, assisted by Emil Lilleberg and Nick Perbix. 1-0 Tampa Bay. 2-0 on a power play goal from Jake Gensel, 16 seconds into the second period. I apologize. Gensel, assisted by Kucherov and Radish, makes it 2-0. And then Kucherov makes it 3-0. Assist by Hedman and Gensel. Shafee makes it 4-0 Lightning. Assisted by... and Kucherov's goal was at 1:50 of the second period. Shafee makes it 4-0 Lightning at 3:58 from Atkinson. And then on the power play... and then Detroit makes it 4-1 with a goal from Lucas Raymond at 4:10 of the second period, assisted by Patrick Kane on the power play. Then the Lightning proceed to make it 5-1 with a goal on the power play by Darren Radish, assisted by Gensel and Kucherov. And that's how the final score, that's what the final score ends up being, 5-1 Tampa Bay. The Lightning had 7 penalties. Detroit had 4. I'm going to say this. It was a very chippy game between the Lightning and the Redwings. A lot of hits. We're going to, like I said a minute ago, Detroit and Tampa Bay are going to play 2 more times within the span of 3 weeks. And Lightning had 7 penalties. Detroit had 4. 2 power play goals for the Lightning, 1 for Detroit. Lightning struggled in the faceoff circle, only winning 46% of the draws compared to 54 for Detroit. Lightning had more block shots than Detroit, which I was not really surprised by at all. Lightning had 22 block shots. Detroit only had 7. The Lightning had less takeaways, 3. Detroit only had 4. Giveaways, Detroit had 15. Lightning had 9. Lightning out-hit Detroit 30-24. I will get to the 3 stars in a second, but shall we now take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Lightning? If I can find it. So as I said, the next month is a critical one up to that game versus the Kraken. So Monday, the Lightning play at Toronto, 7:30. And Tuesday, they play at Montreal, 7 o'clock. Friday, they play at Chicago at 8 o'clock. Saturday, at Detroit. Tuesday, Chicago at home. Thursday, January 30th, they play the Kings at home. Then they play Saturday, February 1st. They play the Islanders at home. Then they have a back-to-back at home with Ottawa. Tuesday, the 4th of February, at Thursday the 6th. And all these games are at 7 or 7:30, other than that Chicago game. And now I'm going to give you, and then the Lightning, February 8th, they play at Detroit. February 9th, they play at Montreal. And that wraps up the first half of the season for the Lightning as they go into the All-Star break, which is going to be the Four Nations tournament, which I will get into on the NHL podcast after this post-game wrap-up, which will be over on my Twitch, which is linked, I believe, in my bio and YouTube. And then the Lightning come out of the break, and the next 4 games after that are Seattle, Edmonton, Calgary, Washington, Florida. And I am going to now predict that batch of games and whether they win or lose. So we're going to start with Toronto. I think they're going to beat Toronto tomorrow night. So that makes them, that's 3 straight wins. I think they beat Montreal to make it 4. Then they beat Chicago to make it 5. Then they beat Detroit to make it 6. Unless Detroit comes out and plays better than they did against the Lightning last night. So that's 5 in a row. Then they get Chicago at home again. After playing at Chicago less than a week before. And I think they beat Chicago to make it 6 in a row. They lose to the Kings, so their win streak ends at 6. Then they get the Islanders at home. That's going to start another winning streak. So that's 1. Then they beat Ottawa twice to get 3. Then they beat Detroit, so that's 4 in a row. Then they beat Montreal to make it 5. Lose to the Kraken. So you see, I have them going on long winning streaks and then losing. And then they lose to Edmonton. So that's 2 losses in a row there. And then they beat Calgary. So beat Calgary, beat Washington. Florida, I think they beat the Panthers. So that's 3 wins in a row. Then they play at home against the Blue Jackets. That's going to also be a win. So that's 5 wins in a row for the Lightning. And then they play Buffalo at home. That's also going to be a win. So 6. Then they beat Boston to make it 7. And that'll wrap up this post-game wrap-up for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Post-game recap.